Welcome to pattern making class. I'm your college instructor, Annette Jolie, and today we are working on raglan sleeve development using our basic bodice. In the last video, we transferred the shoulder dart in the back to the armhole for 1/2 inch added fullness, and in the front bodice, we transferred 1/2 inch of the waist dart into the armhole in the front here for added fullness, and these bodices are now ready to start drawing a raglan sleeve seam on them. We're also going to drop our armholes, and then in the next video we'll be working with the sleeve. So we can drop both of our armholes and draw the raglan sleeve seam. Let's start by going down 1.5 inches on my front armhole side seam and 1.5 inches on my back side seam, and now we'll connect that new shaped armhole down there, and this is what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this. You're going to go out, come back up, and blend into. You can use your hand just like a compass and draw what that curve should look like. The same with the front. The curve's going to look, it's going to come straight for about 1/2 inch. Then it's going to come and blend nicely into that armhole. So we're dropping both of those 1.5 inches. Now let's firm up our lines. You can change it a little bit if you need to, but I like to use ink so everybody can see. Let's go ahead and get a weight on there. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. Great. Now, took a little bit of that notch off in the back armhole, so let me extend that. There's my back notches, and I've dropped that down that 1.5 inches. And let's do that with our front. Let's go ahead and firm up our line. You can discard this, or you can keep this there and have it as a little reminder. Almost the same curve that we're cutting out. Yeah. The back looks like I blended it a little bit shorter, so that I'm going to mirror what I did with the back there and firm that line up. Blend up a little bit farther. So I'm going somewhere between the back line and the original line I drew. That looks good. Let's go ahead and cut that out. We've dropped down 1.5 inches. And like I said, you can get rid of those little triangles. We transfer the notch in. Or you can keep these to know that you drop that down 1.5 inches. You can tape it on the side of the pattern. You could tape it right there. Great, now we've modified both of our armholes. Now we get to draw the raglan seam. Let's start with the front. On the front, I'm going to mark down in my neckline 1.25 inches from the high point of my shoulder down. One and 1/4. Okay. Also, I'm going to come along here in the armhole, and I'm going to measure my armhole. And my new armhole is 10 3/4. I'm going to divide that in half, which is 5 3/8, and then go down 1/2 inch and make a line. So we measured the armhole, divided it in half, and went down 1/2 inch. I have a line, and I'm connecting that to my neckline that I went down 1 1/4. So let's see what that looks like. That looks really good. Now we're going to go find the middle of this line that we just drew into the armhole. We are at about 8 1/2. So let's go ahead and mark it 4 1/4. And that is the middle of the line. Draw a little line that goes perpendicular, at least 3/8 of an inch. And mark the end of it up 3/8. And we're working on developing the raglan line, and we're going to cut this piece off and attach it to the top of the sleeve. Now we're going to take our curve ruler, and I'm going to curve a line back to the armhole. There's our raglan sleeve seam, and this is going to become our front notch when we cut this off. Now we're going to work on the back. We're going to do the same thing where we measure the armhole. I'm walking my ruler, going up to my low point of my shoulder, and I'm at 11 1/4. Okay, so let's go down half of that. Which would be 5 5/8, and then now I need to go down another 1/2 inch and mark it. Go to your neckline. From the high point of the shoulder, mark down 1 1/4 inches. So here, down 1 1/4. Now we're going to connect this line with the new line that you made in the armhole. A straight line to start. That looks good. Neckline to armhole. This happens to end up being about 3/8 of an inch above the back notch. Just saying. And here, this was 1 1/4. High point to neckline. And how we came up with this is we measured the armhole, divided it in half, went down another 1/2 inch. Then we drew a straight line into our neckline. Now we're going to go ahead and measure the line that we just drew. And we are at 8 1/4. So we're going to divide that in half. 4 1/8. We mark that line. And let me take a line up perpendicular at least 3/8 of an inch. Cross the line to show the end of the line. That went up 3/8 of an inch. Now we're going to take our curve ruler and we're going to make a curved line from the armhole over to that line. There we go. Flip the ruler and connect that back to the neckline position. Let me curve that a little bit more. Right there. That looks good. Now, since this is the back, we can have this one notch, but we need to have another notch 1/2 inch away. You can go up or down, I don't care. I went up. Now you have double notches, and you're going to cut along this curved line. So you can circle and circle. And in the front, you're going to cut along the curved line so you can circle that notch. And that's looking really good. We're going to be able to cut those off soon and attach those to the top of our sleeve copy. And we're going to do that in our next video. This is Annette Julie. Thanks so much, and I look forward to you checking out my next video, and please subscribe.